Chamber, just because summer's over doesn't mean we stop. We got a lot going on. Dennis brought up our next big thing that we're working on is the Suffolk County Marathon, and having creating some kind of activity along Main Street and downtown to accommodate the crowds that are coming to participate and be part of this historic marathon coming through town. What I can tell you is that we're lucky, the Patchogue community is lucky that St. Joseph's College, one of the marathon sponsors, has been selected to be the Runners Expo for Friday and Saturday leading into the race, meaning every runner who registered has to go there to get their packet of information. And Blue Point Brewery, another one of the main sponsors for the marathon, has secured their shuttle service, and on both Friday and Saturday, for most of the day, are going to be running people between St. Joseph's to downtown to the brewery. So that hasn't been finalized yet, but we're going to get that schedule out. I'm thinking behind the theater might work, or maybe on the Terry Street side. I don't want to use the Alive After 5 stop because I feel that's too far on that end of town for people who want to come into town. And the idea is, we've already talked to the restaurants and the businesses, that runners who are coming into town those days will be afforded special meals. I know a bunch of the restaurants, I think, are working on special pasta dinners for the runners, since that's a very popular thing for them to eat before they do a full marathon. So those details will be coming out. We're going to be taking out a full page ad in advance, certainly, and to advertise everything that's coming up. But there are a couple of things, while I'm speaking about it, I know I have on the agenda for approval. As Dennis alluded to, one thing we got from the organizers is the concept that as long as if we do things on the downtown area and stay within the parking space areas, we are good with them. They're fine with that. And as Dennis indicated, that would be a great way to keep that farmer's market right in the same spot as it normally is for people looking for it. The only difference is the fronts would be the sidewalk side as opposed to the street side. And we can even throw the Alive After 5 barricades behind them just to ensure people don't want to do that. Village Idiot has said that if allowed, they would use some of that space in front of them for their breakfast in the morning for people coming down. Fulton's Gate is now starting a breakfast in the morning and said they'd be interested to use some of that space. And we are talking to some of our businesses about actually doing little sidewalk sales those mornings to make it interesting for people to come down and watch the race, to have some kind of activity. The Chamber has gotten okay from Capital One to use the plaza as a gathering spot, and we have got a tentative agreement with a group called the Manhattan Dolls. Now, since the race is all about veterans, the Chamber's concept is to try to create it as like a USO type atmosphere. So these Manhattan Dolls are basically do the Andrew Sisters. They kind of act as the Andrew Sisters, doing Boogie Woogie, Bugle Boy. We figured that time of the day, that music wouldn't be as offensive to people as like maybe a loud rock band or something like that. So I think that would work over there. I talked to the church, and we're going to try to have their sets between when they do Mass at the Congregational Church. But one thing for the businesses, that even though the way the race concept is going to be, is that most of the runners will be out of Patchogue by noon, is the guesstimate. That by noon they have to be, and because by 2 o'clock everybody has to go off the road. County is shutting down the race at 2 o'clock, no matter where people are, so they can open up Montauk Highway again by 2 o'clock. But since, to encourage the businesses to feel like they're going to get a bang for this, since most of the runners will be done by noon, what I'm asking the village is, if the street could stay closed till 2 o'clock and still create that sidewalk sale atmosphere and allow those restaurants that have outdoor seating continue that, just so some people who might have came down for the race will maybe hang out a little bit later and generate some little extra business for the business people. So that's one request that I have.
For 2 o'clock.
To 2 o'clock. Right, I mean, the farmer's market goes to 1 o'clock right now anyway, so half of Main Street's been kind of close to 1 o'clock anyway, so we're just asking the extra hour and have the East End be, I mean, right now, I don't know what the village has already approved for closure for the race. I don't even know, how much extra we're asking for, because I don't know what you guys are anticipating. It's on today, so it's
Will Cherry Street be closed? I mean,
Terry White.
yeah, but we don't need Terry Creek that closed that long. You know, we only need We're Main Street, and South Ocean, same thing. We're not asking for that.
From Maple to West or Maple to...
Maple to Ocean, basically, the two. I mean, and the extra hour on the other side, and you already have the farmer's market on, is what we're asking.
Maple to Havens.
Yes, in essence, that's what it would be. But I mean, I don't know, what is the marathon guys asking for on Main Street, requesting? I mean, because I was just, if they're already asking for two, I'll keep my mouth shut.
They didn't actually say it.
There's no time yet.
They didn't give you a time?
Yeah, there's a ton.
Right. So I mean, my understanding is they figure by noon is when they're figuring everybody be out of Patchogue. So we're technically asking for, I guess, 2 hours beyond that in the grand scheme of things.
My bet is 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, there's still out on the street coming through downside. Only 2 o'clock is the downside.
Right. And again, it will just help us encourage more business people to participate and just create more of an event. So when people come down to watch the race, there's a lot of different things going on. The libraries agreed to do a little children's activity thing, similar to what they do with Live After 5 in front of the library. I know we've talked to the Patchogue Arts Council and Art Space of potentially doing something on Terry Street when the runners come by, just to add a little element. I mean, one of the things I was thinking, Laurie, is, you know, maybe come up with very artistic welcome runner signs, and maybe make a contest with the
I'll make
residents or
that
something like
recommendation.
that.
I went to Tracy's last exhibition committee meeting, so I threw it out to them, but I was leaving it in their hands what they might want to do.
And then the other request in deal with that is that the fire department says they have 2 flags, or sizable flags, that would look nice to add to the veterans theme, to have them run across some of the areas where banners run across on Main Street. And Bill, you were part of that discussion there. I know you're already talking about one banner right now, which that's fine. So really then we'd be looking maybe wherever that banner goes, where the opposite banner areas, if we could hang a flag there. Assuming that this will work. There's still questions that the flag that they have would work. The assistant chief at the meeting that we had was confident that it would, but obviously that would be really up to the village to tell
No,
us.
we have a meeting, and that would be the Burlington banner spot. And we just have to have a meeting on logistics of how low the flag's gonna hang, and how we're gonna hang it, and otherwise. Well, I have a question for you, Dave, and that is that this is the first time hearing about a shuttle to the Blue Point Brewery.
Okay.
Have there been any approvals on that?
Well, good question. I mean, we weren't the arrangers of that. That was more the main organizer, you know, the county, and the Blue Point is their main sponsor. They just told us they were going to do one, and we just asked, if you're going to do one, please make sure you stop in between and stop on Main Street, because we'd like to get some of those people to come into town. I mean, obviously Blue Point was doing it because I'm sure they have plans on that Friday and Saturday to do something for the runners at their site, and obviously they want to get the runners at the expo down to their location. So, I mean, I don't mind making that request for them, because I know they definitely want to do it. But, you know, other than I know they were going to stop on Main Street along the way, that was really my aspect of it.
Well, this is the last meeting before the marathon.
Right. So maybe, I don't know if Blue Point was aware that they needed to get the approval for the shuttle to Blue Point.
Do we need a
Well, if they're having an event at the brewery, no.
They have their outdoor music permit. That's really what they need. So they're on their property.
But certainly, probably what we would need approval for is if we could make a stop on the downtown area, where that stop would be with when we bring that shuttle comes into town. I'm probably thinking the end of the road walkway makes more sense because it's less crowded over there. You know, even though, because behind the theater, I know it gets a little more crowded. Maybe on a Friday or Saturday, having the shuttle come through there would just be problematic to that parking lot. But I'm certainly willing for any recommendation, or whatever you decide is what we'll do.
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay.
You know, how to do it safely. Check with the brewery, see what their plans are, and get back to us.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Yeah, so whatever, I mean, I guess I'll wait till the proper time for those approvals. I'll be here after I finish the report, and we'll go on there. Other things that we got coming up, we got the St. Liberato Italian Festival. That's really coming into full swing. That's going to be Saturday, September the 26th from 12 to 6 p.m.